My wife and I have a son and two daughters. We've attended almost every game they've ever played. And I coached all of them in CYO basketball. Our son is in the military, God bless him. Our daughter just started college, and our youngest is in 9th grade. And she plays volleyball, basketball, and lacrosse. Now let's just pretend that she continues to work real hard, and by the time she's a senior, she's in line to receive the last female athletic scholarship left to the college of her dreams, but gets beat out by a guy who identifies as a girl. I think I'd be a little pissed. Title IX is a civil rights law signed by President Nixon in 1972, which prohibits discrimination in education and sports based on sex. For decades, when we collectively had our heads on straight, we all knew the difference between a male and a female. We followed the science and common sense. See, biology has never changed since the first human walked upright. Until President Obama and his far-left radicals came along, Obama's education department forced schools into allowing students to pick their gender and be treated as such. The Trump administration reversed the nonsense and instructed schools to define gender based on biology. The leftists went berserk. They found sympathetic judges who are all progressives and won some court cases. Naturally, President Biden went even further. Executive orders, right? And soon thereafter, diversity, equity, and inclusion policies pervaded every department and agency. So here we are. Leah Thomas swims for 3 years on the UPenn men's team and is mediocre. He then says he identifies as a woman, switches to the women's team, shatters records, and I kid you not, was nominated for the 2022 NCAA Woman of the Year Award. But he still gets out of the pool with a bulge in his Speedo, and we're supposed to play along. Another guy named Megan Cortez Fields, for 3 years, would dive into the water on the Ramapo College men's team. Now in his senior year, he puts on a bikini, competes against the ladies, and smashes school and New Jersey state records in the 100-yard butterfly and 200-meter individual medley. And now, of course, it's not uncommon for girls to be injured, sometimes seriously, by a dude who looks like a lady but plays like the man he is. So thankfully, public opinion is solidly on the side now of protecting women. The courts are still sorting this stuff out, and whoever lives in the White House next year will have a really big say in whether we normalize this insanity going forward or actually be on the side of women and girls and reality. I know, I can't believe we're actually having this debate, but we are, and we better speak up, fight back, and stop this lunacy once and for all. We conservatives are the new feminists. Who'd have thunk it? A year ago, Connecticut adopted a policy that allows men who think they're women to compete in sports against real women. You know how the story goes. Countless girls in high school were screwed out of awards, medals, and opportunities. But thankfully, 4 of them are fighting back, and we're glad they are. One of them, Selina Soule, joins me now, along with her attorney from Alliance Defending Freedom, Rachel Rouleau. So, Selina, tell us why trans women, which are biological males, competing against you is completely and utterly unfair.
It's unfair for biological males to compete against women because they are so physically superior to us. In my 4 years of high school, I was forced to compete against not only 1, but 2 biological males, one of which competed as a male for 3 seasons. And it's just devastating that so many years later, this first started in 2017, that this is still an ongoing issue.
It's amazing. Rachel, where is this in the legal process, and on what grounds do you think you have a constitutional case?
Well, thankfully, we recently saw a huge win in this case on behalf of female athletes. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals has recognized that these brave young women like Selina have been injured by Connecticut's law that said that males can compete in women's sports and that they deserve to have their day in court. They deserve to make their full case under Title IX. It's been Alliance Defending Freedom's privilege to stand alongside these strong female athletes like Selina, and we look forward to continuing to seek justice so that these girls and girls in the future have a fair competition.
So, Selina, I know this can't be easily done, especially since You know, people of your age kind of become brainwashed into this thinking, and they think this is normal and right. What have you personally had to deal with, and is it worth going through this no matter the outcome?
It is worth speaking up for what you believe in. I started this when I was just 15 years old back in 2018, and at that time, nobody else was speaking out on this. So I had to become a role model for myself. But now there are so many other great girls in this fight, and it's going to be much easier to fight this with the more voices that we have. So I would tell everyone out there to speak up and ask for fairness to be restored to our sports.
Do you think these so-called leaders, these so-called adults that make these policies, understand the ramifications for women like you?
I don't know if they do or not. There's some politicians out there that are trying to take a stand and protect women's sports, but there are many out there that don't think that women have the right to win in their own sports. They believe that we only have the right to participate. And I just want to tell them that we elite female athletes, we don't train hard to get a bronze medal. We train hard to be on the top of that podium.
And you deserve it. Rachel, in the 30 seconds so we have, what kind of similar cases around the country like this? And if so, how have the courts been ruling on these type of issues?
Yes, well, I mean, we're seeing that the country is being outraged by having males compete in women's sports, and we are seeing a tide shift. We're seeing the public opinion shift, and we are seeing courts start to rule in our favor, like the recent decision in the Second Circuit that's allowing this case to continue. And we're hopeful that the courts will protect female sports, or else it will be erased, because girls deserve to compete on a level playing field.
Selina Soule, I hope you win this. And Rachel Rouleau, make sure you argue this great in court. Doing a good job so far. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ambassador for Turning Point USA, Gavin Wax, has been with me. So, I mean, like I said, I have two daughters, and the fact that they might be on a court or a field and some guy might beat the heck out of them and is allowed to play against them in the first place and take their spot on a team or something just drives me nuts. And we're having this debate like it's rational.
Yeah, no, this is a humiliation ritual that the left is imposing on everyone, fathers like yourselves, the female athletes that have to endure this nonsense. I mean, I think I speak for many people when I say, Rob, we just want the left to follow the science. You know, let's flip the slogan back on them. And what they're doing here is it's a disgrace. It's an attack on women and girls everywhere. And it's just an attack on basic science and the basic fundamentals of society. You know, men and women have differences. Let's recognize that, and let's not try to pigeonhole this radical Marxist, cultural Marxist worldview. Republicans should not be afraid of this issue. They should run on this issue. Glenn Youngkin did it in Virginia, and he did it excellently.